Welcome back to the show. I am thrilled to have my dear friend Liz Hartke in the studio today. Welcome to the show, Liz. Welcome to the High Vibe Life podcast, where we are obsessed with all things manifestation, neuroscience, personal growth, and quite simply, living a life beyond our wildest dreams. I'm Moira, author, speaker, podcaster, manifestation, and mindset master. Since getting sober 25 years ago, I've helped tens of thousands of women break through and achieve massive levels of wealth, joy, and freedom. Now it's your turn. Let's dig in.
I'm so happy to be with you. Only thing that would beat this is if I was actually sitting with you right now.
I know. I feel like we need a little Starbucks run and a coffee chat, but that's what we're going to do over this next, 45 minutes to an hour. I am so thrilled to have you here. We met years ago in the network marketing spaces when we initially met. And girlfriend, you have gone on since then to do such extraordinary work in the world, really in the space of leadership. I've seen you launch masterminds. I've seen you, work right alongside John Maxwell for years. I've seen you do some really big professional things. But man, I've seen you also do some really big personal things and get through some really big personal things. You are just a warrior in my eyes, professionally and personally. And so I'm going to ask you this question to start. How would you describe who you are and what you do?
It's so funny. I'm hearing you say this and I'm like, yeah, the last handful of years have been quite the roller coaster. Even just last night, Michael and I are like laying there trying to fall asleep. And he's like, there's no one I'd rather do this roller coaster with. And I'm like, that's our life. It is a roller coaster. And I think, so how I see it from my vantage point is we're figuring it out every day.
Yeah.
Like we're figuring out parenthood. We're figuring out homeschooling. We're figuring out the direction our business is going, like writing a book, figuring it out, just everything I'm doing. I just feel like in real time, I'm like, okay, let's figure this out. And I think one thing that I've gotten good at, which has propelled the career side of things, is I extract the process as I go because I'm like, I wish someone did this for me because I think I would have figured it out a lot faster. So that's probably some of what you're seeing is like it being passed back to the people who are like, at my heels, like, I don't want to make the same mistakes you're making. But yeah, it's been a really wild ride. We always joke and say it's our, 3-ring circus. And I don't know if I'd really trade it because it's been in the hard stuff and in the challenges that I feel like I've come to deepen my faith, but also come to really get to know who I'm meant to be versus who I've been told I am or who I thought I was or, my limitations. It's been in like the deep, dark challenges that I'm like, okay, I guess I am capable of a little bit more. Yeah. Let's see where this takes us now.
And when you say a little bit more, like, I know you're humble, but like when I met you, you had built this extravagant, like large 7-figure network marketing business. You pivoted to go out on your own and build another like multi-million-dollar business. How many babies do you have?
We were pregnant with our 6th.
Okay, I was like, are we allowed to say that on air yet?
You heard it here first. I haven't put it out into the world yet, simply because our circus is running so fast. Yes. And I'm like, I don't have time to put up a post. We got work to do over here. And I'm nauseous all the time.
Pregnant with your 6th, which I love because I'm the 6th kid in my family. I told Liz when we got on, I was like, best place to be in the whole birth order. That's for darn sure. So let's be real, multiple businesses that are all operating at, multi-millions, 6 children. You guys just moved across the country. You quite literally are running a circus. And I love it because the first thing you said is you're figuring it out as you go. Like you don't have all the answers. You're not some magical Oz behind the curtain. The secret to success, I think one of the secrets to success is just being willing to leap before you're ready. And, what do they say? Like build the parachute or build the plane, build the parachute on the way down or something like that, which I love. And there were a few things that you had written before, we popped on here. And because I always ask, what topics would you like to cover And Liz, you gave me like the gold. I was like, we need to talk about all of these, all of these. So can we start with this one? Because I think it's right. It's gotta be your business partner, right? Partnering with God, making God your business partner, because I don't think you can do what we just talked about you doing in life without something so much bigger than us. So can we talk about that?
Yeah, that's always been a part of the process for me, but I always felt like I couldn't lead with it for years because in the business world, and I was serving different types of entrepreneurs across different industries, definitely across different faiths, some people without faith, that I felt like, okay, I'll just be centered in my faith and lead them from a place of faith, but I'm not going to talk about it. And then I couldn't, it was like when you shake, soda and you can't stop it from like just bubbling out. Because to your point, there have been so many things over the last 12 to 13 years in business that I'm like, this was not me.
Right.
Like this, I wouldn't have survived that had it been just me, or I would have never been able to experience that if it were just me. So it just became this natural thing. And then what was really cool, Moira, was like at some point, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, I've been running these masterminds for a long time. I do attract people of all different walks of life. And some of them are universalists or they're agnostic or they're atheists, but they weren't turned off by me being me, by like me sharing my faith. And I'm not like up there necessarily reading Bible verses, but I am very true to what I believe. And I also believe from a business perspective that it is the linchpin. And I think whether someone knows they're being guided or not, we are all being guided. And so for a long time, I would hide it. And then I finally started to speak it. And then I noticed even the people who didn't agree with exactly how I got there were still gravitating towards me. So I was like, okay, I think this is where I'm supposed to be. And now for myself, it's been so cool because the doors that have opened over the last couple of years, especially, they were things that for so long I was trying to strong arm my way into or manufacture my way into. I was like, what does my media kit have to look like to get this door to open? How much money do I have to make to finally be recognized in this space? Who do I have to work with for people to think that I'm the real deal? And everything was just kind of calculated and almost manipulated is a strong word, but that's in retrospect what it was. It was me trying to like make things appear a certain way so that I could get what I wanted. And it almost never worked, right? Like I'd get far, but not as far as I really wanted to go. And then once I feel like I released that and started my mornings with like, okay, God, what are we doing today? Yes. What does this look like today? Like when doors would slam in my face, I'd be like, okay, thanks. I don't know what you're protecting me from, but I'm going to assume it was pretty bad because that door slammed pretty hard.
Yeah.
And just kind of embracing like, all right, you are the pilot. I am the passenger here. Just show me the way and tell me who I need to become in the process. Those doors that I had been trying to just force my way through started opening almost effortlessly, like almost without me I never had to send the pitch. I never had to ask. And it was like before I was asking all the time and we had our rhythms of how we were pitching things or how we were doing things. So it's been such a huge validation to how much his hand really is in everything, even the tough stuff, to help prepare me and equip me for who I need to be to handle that door that I kept saying that I want to walk through. So I feel like I've been protected and sheltered from the stuff that I said I wanted for a long time.
Yes.
And I feel like I've been guided more gently through the doors of like, you never even thought you could have something like this or do something like this. And I'm going to prepare you, even if you don't like the preparation period. And then that door is going to open and you're going to realize that you're capable of so much more because I'm in partnership with you. And so that's been a huge gift and a huge burden lifted. Yeah. Like I feel like I spent so much time in stress and overwhelm because I felt like my control.
Yep.
Right.
I was going to say burnout, right? Like you and I are such worker bees, such action takers.
For sure.
And you have to take action, right? We're not saying you can't, you got to take action if you want to have success, but that's the difference. It's like one side of the road is burnout, exhaustion, just all this effort that strains your relationships. And if you're in that, I would say then you're not really letting God take the wheel, right? You're not
Totally.
allowing that. And on this other side of the road, there's still effort and there's still action, but man, it's like miracle after miracle and joy and fun and ease and excitement. And so here's a question then, what's the how behind that, right? Like people can hear this, I can hear this, but what do you do daily or how do you connect to that? Because for me, it's like, I know that I can set the intention, then I take it right back. And then I try to hand it over. We always talk about like, I take the wheel back. It's like I'm driving the bus and then I'm like, oh, Jesus, take the wheel. And then I take the wheel back. And so how do you consistently hand it over and really let God lead?
I think that's the key word is consistently. So I used to think, when will I finally get to a point where my faith is rooted, right? Like, when will I finally embrace and like really trust God? Or when will I finally surrender? And then I was like, oh, this is a daily thing. Yeah. I get it now. Like I am so imperfect and so flawed and so conditioned to want to control and take back the wheel and all of that stuff. So a piece of how he made me that I have to be so active in my pursuit of him every day. And that's why I feel like sometimes I've been humbled many times over the last handful of years pretty hard. Yeah. And I'm like, man, I think sometimes I get so independent. Yeah. I need those really more than a nudge to be reminded like, hey, you need to come back to me. So to avoid the 2x4 to the forehead, I'm always like, God, please. So my prayer now is like, I don't pray to make me stronger. I don't pray to like,
you've learned.
Give me more money. I'm like, God, be merciful. Like, I'm like, just be merciful, be gentle. Like, I want these things and I want to glorify you and I want to step into who you call me to be. But can we just like make the road a little bit gentle for a minute? Cause it's been freaking bumpy and I'm exhausted. So for me, what I used to do, I had this thing I call the Leader's Morning Checklist, and it went super viral and people really loved it. And I used it with my clients. And it was basically like how you position the first few hours of your day. Well, I had to go back and change it because what I was doing was I was getting up really early and I was spending these 2 hours, and I have little kids. So a lot of that, like they were with me, right? Like when I was working out, they were working out with me or playing in the workout room with me, or they were, drawing as I was reading or whatever. So I wasn't like, go take my cold plunge and block out the world for 2 hours and sorry kids, mommy's busy. It wasn't like that at all. But one thing I changed was I used to give my time with God in that 2-hour block before I started my workday. And I was like, if you have a business partner, you are talking to that business partner in a very serious way. And that's a priority because you guys have to be on the same page. Like I coach a lot of people that are in business partnership and I'm like, you guys have to be communicating daily. It has to look like this. It has to be very intentional. I'm like, why am I doing this during like my family and private time? This should literally be a part of my workday. Yeah. So normally we homeschool and stuff, and we're pretty fluid with our schedule in different seasons. Michael will homeschool more or whatever. So it's not like we're not super scheduled, but generally speaking, I would kick off work around 9 in the morning because I'd be with the kids. They get up nice and early and we'd get a nice 3 hours together in the morning. And it felt like crazy to me to start my workday later than that if I had the capacity to start at 9. I started from 9 to 10. It was only that business meeting with God. Wow. I was like,
and a whole hour.
A whole hour. And I'm like, man, some days it's more than an hour. Because I've really structured, this is a big thing that I teach with our entrepreneurs is something called the Visionary CEO schedule. And it's these 7 blocks of time that have to show up in your weeks. Now they can show up differently depending on the industry you're in and what you do and what your goals are and your vision and everything. But I started carving out of my workday because I'm like, this is a business move. Like this is a strategic move with my business partner. I'm not going to sacrifice family time to do that. Right. I'm going to give up business time. And it was like my focus and my energy went towards the most high leverage things because I was being so intentional with it that my work days didn't have to be as long. Right. And I didn't have to do as many things because answers came to me more quickly. Yeah. So that was a big thing that I did. I put a lot of the questions that I ask myself, because sometimes I'll sit down and nothing's coming, like I'm tired or foggy. So I had to create some tools to help me be able to like prompt myself in the moments where I felt a little stagnant. I love reading the Bible, but sometimes I'll be reading it. I'm not a great reader.
Yeah.
So
same.
I'll read it and I'm like, it's not landing, or I'm not retaining it well. So I needed questions that I'm asking God and questions that I'm asking myself and praying over to just kind of ground me. But that's been huge for me.
That's
Very
amazing.
freeing.
That's like one of my biggest things is the inquiry process. Like I am the same exact way. It's so funny. I have to ask questions. Like it's all, questions about like, when people are asking about vision, I'm like, it's the question you ask. Questions in the morning, questions on like retraining your brain, questions about, it's always questions, because I'm the same. It's like it doesn't infiltrate if I'm just passively reading something. That is so incredibly good. And I think what I really want people to hear, what you said, was a lot of people are like thinking probably, oh my gosh, I don't have that much time. Like I can't take an hour in the middle of my day. But here's the thing, when you tap into that magic, you get time back tenfold, right? It's like you would have taken 25 steps to get from A to C, where all of a sudden you collapse that and it took you 2 steps to get the same distance. And so that's where you're guided. You're guided when you're super connected, you're guided to thoughts that just supersede all those little steps. And it really is incredible. I love this that you're saying. Like, think about if you were to be able to, who could we even think of? Let's say John Maxwell or Tony Robbins, 2 of the biggest names in the world. If they were your business partner, like your business partner, if that was your business partner, you would give them so much attention. You would carve out the time. You would hang on every word. You would check in with them probably obsessively about like, is this the right move? Is that the right move? Should I be doing this? That's what we need to be doing. You just hit the nail on the head. And it's like, so often we're taking 5 or 10 minutes in the morning to almost like unconsciously connect. It's not even really conscious contact.
It's like habitual.
Yeah. Oh, so good. Okay. I want to get to these other topics because there's so many things. These were supposed to be like hour-long topics, but I'm like, we got to squeeze them all in. 2 more things. And this was another topic you gave me. Your big next, the cost of playing small and how to step into your calling. The cost of playing small and how to step into your calling. Can we talk about that? Because here's where I believe I can ask a personal question, but also it's what I talk to a lot of women about. It's a lot of women have had success. And it's like, how do you find that fire again to keep going or to get back into the business or get back into the game or rebuild or relaunch? And it's like, we've kind of have, a decade or 2 or even 3 behind us. And it's like, how do we find that next thing? But not only how do you find the next thing, the most important part is how do you find that fire again, right?
Yeah. Every single, and it's not often you can say this, right? Like without exclusion, every single entrepreneur I've worked with, every founder, every, small business owner across the board. And I'll work with people like John Maxwell. I work with a woman that owns a $26 million fence company here in New Hampshire. I work with mom and pop shops. I work with online entrepreneurs, network marketers. It doesn't matter. Every single one that has found what you described of like some level of success, they become their own greatest bottleneck at some point in the process, usually because they've found success. So what happens is the natural tendency, especially for like 3s on the Enneagram or go-getters or high Ds on the disc or whatever.
Check.
You and I. Yeah, exactly. You and I in a nutshell. Our tendency is like, well, we're not shy when it comes to hard work, and we're not shy when it comes to strategizing and like figuring it out. So we fall back on what we know. So we go into like, okay, well, it must just be like, I need to launch again, or I need a different marketing strategy, or maybe I need to pivot, or maybe it's time to start the podcast or whatever. Like we go through our laundry list of different things that we can do to either stoke the fire or generate more revenue or momentum or whatever. But when it is genuinely you are the bottleneck, which it 100% of the time is at some juncture in the process, in the growth process, until you scale yourself and unlock yourself, you cannot scale the business, at least not sustainably, or worse. Like so we put a lot of time over the last few years as I was prepping for the book, and then I was writing the book the last 6 months or so. We've been in the editing process now, which is like my least favorite part. I was interviewing a ton of really successful entrepreneurs like towards the close of their career. And the interesting thing was the fear that they had, or their regrets, were not around like things they failed at. And it wasn't around, the plateaus they hit. It wasn't around where they went wrong. It was that they found incredible success on something that never really mattered to them, that was never really a calling for them.
Yeah.
And it was some version of that. So to avoid that, what we really have to do is that work of identifying, well, what are we called to do? And I think we put too much pressure on it. It's like, what's our calling? What's our purpose? That's not what I mean. The premise of Your Big Next is saying, okay, in this season right now, God has gifted you with innate gifts that you probably overlook because they're so innate. I'm not talking like skills or things you've developed or things you're good at. I'm talking like things that are imprinted on your DNA that like make you uniquely you. He's also given you some kind of passion or draw or magnetism towards something. It's typically something that keeps repeating in the back of your head, but you keep nudging it down because you don't know how it'll be profitable yet, or you don't know how you would do it, or you don't want to look green again in this season because you've already found success. And it also is something that is going to serve at a really deep level. And so the idea is, how do we identify that? So we actually have a discernment process that's you're getting all the exclusives, Moira.
I love this.
I don't know when this goes live, but the book, so our podcast has rebranded. It's Your Big Next now. And the book is also Your Big Next, and it comes out this fall. Good. And we have a planner that will coincide with the book, because your question was like, how do we do this? Well, one of my big quests is making leadership tangible, because for years I studied John Maxwell. I studied Zig Ziglar. I studied the greats, but I was like, there are a lot of principles here, but I don't always know how to make them apply in the granular of my days.
Right.
So a lot of what we do is we take these esoteric ideas and then we turn them into things that are actual, like measurable things that you can do with your life as a leader to unlock that potential, to identify and discern your big next. One of those tools that we use is called the Visionary Matrix. And it's literally like a matrix, like 4 quadrants to help you discern what your big next is. Because a lot of times what I hear from those successful entrepreneurs, and maybe you can relate, or you've seen it in your clients or people you know, peers, friends, the phrase we hear the most, or 2 phrases. We either hear, I feel stuck, and then when the follow-up question is, well, what are you being called into? I don't know. So our goal is to help them discern and go from, I don't know, to I'm incredibly certain. Yeah. I am so clear and I know how I'm going to do it. So step 1 is really that discernment process and really identifying that. And then I always think one of the easiest ways, or lowest hanging fruit ways, to change your life in a week, to change your business in a week.
Please tell me that.
is the proof is in the pudding. I do it. Every single one of my clients hates it. And every single one of them within a week feels a like pressure release valve being hit, and clarity and new direction. And it's the Visionary CEO schedule. And all I'm doing is I'm assessing their current schedule based on what they're saying they want, what they say they value, what they say they're being guided into. And it's usually a major gap. So what we want to do is get them out of the to-do list, get them out of the perpetual appointments and meetings, and identify the most high leverage things that they can be doing to step really boldly and bravely into their calling. Now, you said something in the beginning that I want to bring back to this part of the conversation, because there is no version of the story where someone gets to experience their big next. I'm talking like God-sized calling, right? Yep. I'm not saying like their next big thing, or even I'm not saying 10xing their business. Like people can, you can figure that out. ChatGPT exists. You can exponentially grow. Doesn't mean it's aligned with who you're meant to be or what you're meant to do, or your family or your values or any of that. It is going to come down to the courage to take the risk. It every single time comes with a risk. Read every story in the Bible. There's not one that I can think of where there's a person in the Bible that God was like, here is the simple, easy, paved path into your calling and your destination. You will experience no bumps or bruises along the way. It's always like, gear up for the gauntlet. You are about to get absolutely wrecked, but then you'll experience glory every single time. And that's a big piece of it. So we kind of do both, where we're like, how do we help these business owners be strategic? And that's one of the first steps is the discernment process, making that tangible. And the second is the visionary CEO process of identifying these 7 blocks that if you really want to be a CEO of your business, it's going to take it to the next level. These are the things that are showing up weekly for you. But then on the other side of the coin, we still have to do that work of like belief and faith and really trusting that God is guiding, like knowing when you have certainty, it's a lot easier because you're like, I can have confidence when I have certainty. Yeah. When I don't have certainty, I'm like dipping my toe in, taking my toe out. I'm like, I don't know, maybe, I'm not sure. So it's like both, we're kind of doing both. We're like, what's the tangible? What's the actionable that we can measure? And then what's the stuff that requires us to really ask the right questions so that we can unearth like, who do we need to become so that we can experience what we want to experience or what we're called to experience.
Okay, I need to get my hands on all this. Can I get an advanced copy?
100%. Yes, you can.
This is gold, like literal gold. And we have so many more things to still talk about, but the visionary, what did you call that? The visionary framework?
Yeah, visionary CEO schedule. I'll send it to you, Moira, but if any of your homies want to check it out, we have a template that at least gives them like the framework of what we're talking about. Okay. And if they just DM me on Instagram template, I'll send it over to them.
Amazing.
Liz Hartke on Instagrams, but they can just send it there. And then I have podcast episodes and stuff that like go into more depth on it to explain it. Cause like one of my big things is I want to give away the stuff that I think is going to impact the greatest, for very low barrier of entry.
Right.
And so tools like you can I break my own rules. Like you can take this free thing and like get really far with it without ever having to really do much with me again. So it's a tool that's very, very helpful.
I am so excited. I mean, this is literally like I'm sure everybody listening is feeling the same thing I'm feeling and thinking is like, my goals are so clear. The vision is so clear. And then what I'm doing is not always aligning at all with like the day in and day out and where my time is actually spent. Oh my gosh, what a gift that is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And all of this will be in the show notes, you guys. So we'll link everything again. So don't worry about pulling over and writing it down. Okay, last big topic. Well, oh wait, this was the one. The other topic was creating a visionary CEO schedule. So that's what I saw. And I was like, I need to know how to do that. Okay, so we tapped on that already. So here's one more then. Abandoning busy work for your profitable life's work, which is very intertwined with everything we were just talking about. So can we just dig a little bit deeper and maybe give me some examples of what that looks like for somebody that you've worked with?
Yeah. So I have yet to meet a founder who doesn't fall into this trap, even if they are disciplined or type A or very organized. There are things that we do, if you were to measure them in your day, that are very reactionary. Okay. So we don't think of them as reactionary. They're under the guise of productive, right? Like we're getting things done. It's going on social media. It's answering emails. It's going in Slack and responding to your team. It's Voxering a client. It's, any of the things that we're responding or reacting or putting out fires. Those are a little more obvious that we're like getting sucked into something. Yeah. So to give a little teaser of what one of the things that falls in the visionary CEO schedule and helps you get out of that busy work and more so into your life's work, what I've done that changed my life, and if you do only one thing, I would recommend this. So I used to let those things bleed throughout my day, right? Like even if I had the knowledge to say like, oh, a leader doesn't start their day by opening email or social media. Okay, a lot of us have heard that. Okay, great. The first few hours of my day, I don't touch my phone. Actually, usually through noon, my phone's on airplane mode. It's still in my closet down in our bedroom.
Okay, that's amazing. I don't think most people are doing that at all. So that's huge.
And I also, this is just a sidebar. I don't have anything that can ping at me on my phone. Yeah. So I actually have 2 phones. I have I don't know if you ever heard of Ghost Phone. I should totally be sponsored by them. It's basically like a dummy phone, but it still has GPS and it still has great quality video and pictures. Cause I'm like, I still use my phone to like take pictures of my kids. And I like obviously need GPS to get anywhere anymore. Right. So I can't get a dummy phone because I can't have it. Well, this has those. So all the time, that's my phone. So you can text me, you can call me, you can't email me, you can't Voxer me, I can't get on, there's no social media on these phones.
Wow.
Love it. Like I felt like I was 10 years younger when I started using this phone. Oh, it was instant relief. Now I run a business that has social media.
Absolutely.
So I have that phone. It's like an iPhone 10. It's super old. It's whatever I've had forever. And that has my social media and Voxer. And in my day, I have carved out times where I use that phone. And I call that my efficiency block. So what I've done is all those reactionary things have now been lumped into one block of time.
Wow.
It's 30 minutes. So I have to be efficient. Wow. When you have your back against the wall, you get ish done, right? So what would normally take, like, if I looked at my day and measured it, I'm like, ew, I think I spent like 5 hours. I don't even know what the heck I was doing. Yep. Like, what a waste. And I'm to this like multi-million-dollar business owners doing this. So I have this efficiency block. I crank the music. I set a timer and I bust my butt just powering through all these things.
Wow.
So whether it's like doing something, now I have team members that will like do responding things on Instagram because I suck at staying on top of my inbox and things like that. But like if I want to, there are emails that I have to answer. There are Slack messages. Of course, I want to be in communication with my team, but I condense it into this 30-minute block. I never do more than 45 minutes. And if on certain days, Tuesdays and Thursdays, those are my meeting or call days, I sometimes will have a mini block, like a 15-minute block before those meetings if there's something I have to prep for my team or whatever. And then another one later in the day. Different industries might need it more. Like I have a lot of real estate clients and they're like, you can't go off the grid till like 3 p.m.
Right.
So I'm like, all right, put like 3 efficiency blocks. They're each 15 minutes, but they are scheduled time. And what that does is it removes from all of the other hours of the day anything reactionary. Now there are other blocks that keep you focused on the right things. It is like breathing like extra oxygen throughout your day, and it gets all the crap away. And what I do is I put it in a block of time in my day where I'm usually pretty low energy because these are not, I'm not curing cancer during this block of time. Like I don't need a well-oiled brain. I need that well-oiled brain when I'm writing and editing my book or when I'm prepping content for a presentation or a keynote. Like I don't need it when I'm answering emails that are just monotonous.
So let me ask you this. Outside of those blocks, you're not picking up social media. You're not looking at your email. You're not looking at anything at night. You're not looking.
No. Not at all. I shut that phone off. Wow. So if you see stuff from me, so what I'll do is throughout my day on my dummy phone, I might record something that could be a story, right? Like, or if inspiration strikes, it's not a reactionary thing. It's like, oh, I'm going to block a few minutes and I'm going to record some stories or I'm going to, create. Now if you look at my social media, I will post and then not post for another month. Like it's just not it's not where we drive our people and find our people usually. So that's helpful. But I then just throw them into a folder for my team. Yep. So if you see stories in the evening or whatever, they're lumped stories that are in a what do you call it? A Google Drive. Yep. And they're putting those up at different times because I have different team members in different time zones.
That's
so
insane.
It works because that's like their daytime and it's, whatever. Mean, so no.
And what I hear too, because this is what I thought you were going to say, but you went to the extreme as you always do in the best of ways. I mean, people could do this where they have their regular phone just during their workday. Like you could say, you know what, operate on your regular phone with all the apps and all the notifications and react all day long for 8 hours a day if you want to. But think about what if you picked up this dummy phone when it's time to be present with your family, when it's time to write the book, when it's time to do a creative pursuit, how different that would even look. And
the feeling, like it's not just the tactic of it. Like we're talking about it from a tactical perspective. The feeling is almost indescribable. Wow. It's like a weight comes off your chest that you didn't know was there, that you're like, I've been living with this weight on my chest for the last decade. I had no idea.
24 hours a day. Yep.
You're so much more creative. And you also train people of how you want to function. So my team knows my block. So like they know what I'm writing. They're like, they get mad at me if I could get on my desktop and I'm in Slack and I'm like, oh, I had this thought, like we should probably do this for this client. They're like, get off of here. This is your writing block. Like you're not allowed here right now. We've got it. And I'm like, so amazing. They hold me accountable because I'm ADD and I'm all over the place. Yeah. But the reason I have to do the extreme thing, Moira, is because I fall prey to temptation way too easily. Yes. I'm like, don't tell me I can have Oreos in moderation. I will eat the
Right.
entire sleeve. So I don't eat Oreos because I am too weak for that. I'm the same way with the phone. If it's like sitting right next to me and I see it light up, you think I have the mental fortitude to not look and see what just pinged at me?
Yeah.
Of course I don't. So I
Right.
have to have it go away. So that's just me. I know people who are more disciplined and are more, but I had to just like remove access because that just made it easier. And I have a dear friend. She's brilliant. And she's helped me through so many things. Her name's Monica Smith. Everyone needs to go follow her and study her. She's in the psychology space and she just knows things. She's also deeply connected to God. So she's the like almost my little, I don't know. She's like my little prophet. She'll just like tell me things. I just love her. But anyway, my point is she once said to me in her cute little Southern accent, and she never swears, but she was like, 99% is a bitch, Liz. And I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, if you're like, honey, to your husband, like, honey, I am 99% committed to this marriage. He'd be like, what's happening that 1% of the time?
Right.
Like, what do you mean 99%? Are you all in or not? And when you are 99% in, you still have a decision to make.
Yes.
Right? So how long have you been sober, Moira?
26 years.
26 years. Do you go to a dinner party and have to question every time you go to a dinner party, is tonight, am I going to have a drink tonight?
Right. Never.
Or you just don't drink.
Right.
You just don't drink. You're 100%
100%.
You don't drink. So there's no 1% for you. There's no decision to be made.
Right.
So I am like that. Like I need to be 100%.
Yeah.
Because that 1% leaves room to then become 2%.
Right.
And then 10%. And then all of a sudden I'm 90% in the other direction.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the heck just happened?
Right.
So to me, removing that 1%, removing those distractions and temptations, removing the opportunity to be reactive because we're naturally that way. We're surrounded by things that are literally scientifically designed to distract us and to addict us.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have to have some like fail safes in place to protect us from that. And for me, it's got to be black and white or else I'm a hot mess and I'm on my phone and I'm scrolling and I'm like, I just lost 6 hours of my day and I feel like I have no time to do anything.
Right. Oh my gosh, this is gold. This is absolute gold. I really do feel like we just did 4 podcasts in one.
I know. We need like a part B, a part C, a part D.
We really do. I'm like, my brain's already like, I never think about this during a podcast, but I'm like, wait, in the show notes, we need to be like, at this minute we did this, at this minute we did this, because there's so many juicy nuggets all the way through this. Oh my gosh. I adore you. I absolutely adore you. I have so much crazy mad respect for you as a mom, as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a woman, all of the things. Where can people find you? Where can they connect with you? How can they work with you? Tell me all the things.
Okay, so let's start. Come hang out with me on the Your Big Next podcast. And I would love to have you subscribe. And this is where I talk about so I suck at social media. We've established that. I don't suck on the podcast. I love my podcast. I've been running it for a long time. And that's where I go deep on a lot of these topics of the how and what it looks like to make those transformations. I am on Instagram sparingly in my efficiency block. So if you do DM me, I will DM you back. Just don't expect within 24 hours.
Right.
So that's another great spot. But then we work primarily with people, our more established business owners. We're working with them in our mastermind. So we have a visionary CEO mastermind. And that's where we really do this deep work. This is where we get to experience and get under the hood and really help these people transform their lives forever, and their businesses as well, obviously. And so our Visionary CEO Mastermind, and you can read all about everything over on luminaryleadershipco.com.
Awesome.
And just DM me the word template, and that's a great starting place. It's very digestible. It's not going to overwhelm you. You get to take it and make it your own. I don't believe in one size fits all. We're all so different. We run different kinds of businesses, different industries, different families, different stages of life. So you got to take it and put it through your own filter.
I love this so much. I mean, I love nothing more than an actual tool that you can implement, taking action from what everybody's already just heard in the last 45 minutes to an hour. So good. So good. And I will put all of that in the show notes and it'll all be right there at everybody's fingertips. Liz, thank you. Thank you for continuing to show up relentlessly in the world as a faith follower, an entrepreneur. I mean, what you are doing, and you just said it. You said we changed their lives forever. Like that word is so key, that somebody doesn't come alongside of you and that year or two that they're working for you, things get better. Like it's changed forever. And that is true legacy work. And I'm so grateful that you're doing all this in the world. So thank you for being here. And thank you for being my friend.
I love you, Moira. Thanks for having me.
Love you too. We'll chat soon. Guys, we'll see you next week. Make sure that you share this episode with your friends. Send it to whoever needs to hear it. Tag Liz, tag myself. And we would love to see you in our DMs. Bye, guys.